Hello everybody, welcome to my live. I'm super late, I'm so sorry. It's I've been living my life late lately. Like I can't catch up. I'm literally running. So about 2 minutes ago I was running across the hallway, running to get something to clean my lens on the camera, and anyway, here we are. So thank you for joining me for my live. My name is Laura Roderick. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in San Antonio, Texas. And I come live just about every Tuesday to share fun projects with you. So thanks for tuning in. It's hot in Texas, y'all. It was 101 on my way home from work today, but you know, I can't complain about sunny and beautiful, right? So there we are. So I feel just a little bit unorganized tonight. Like I said, I'm just running behind with everything. Hi Roz, how are you? All right, I see myself coming up on Facebook now, so that's good. Okay, deep breath, and we're gonna have some fun. I didn't even have any cards to show you till last night, because I was so busy over the weekend, doing things, packaging things, cutting things, that I didn't get to it. So I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be live or not. We'll have to see what happens. So I created these cards last night. I do not have the project sheet completed yet, so I'm not sure if my email is going to go out on time tomorrow morning. We'll see. We'll see how much I can get done tonight. Eventually, there's a point in which you have to catch up, right? So that's coming. And thank goodness for a 3-day weekend, right? Hi, Kelly. So we've got that to look forward to. Anybody doing anything fun for the 3-day weekend? I'm going to be staying home, doing my usual stuff, hopefully doing some like extra cleaning, like some painting and stuff in the house, and hopefully doing some swimming. I think the weather's going to be nice. So hi Lisa, how are you? Oh, sorry, I'm late, Lisa. Sorry, I'm not usually late, or at least not by a minute or so. Okay, so let me turn the camera around and let's see the projects that we're going to do for tonight. All right. Okay, so something new came out tonight. You know, Tuesday's the day when, whoops, hold on, sorry. I had a problem. Tuesday's the day when, oh my, hold on. I'm gonna break my stand. Okay. Sorry. All right, there we go. I think that's gonna be pretty good. Let me slide that over a little. Okay. So they started advertising their virtual album retreat today. So this is pretty exciting. If you're a scrapbooker, or if you just want to do some easy scrapbooking, they're going to have this, it's July 16th through the 18th. It's 2 to 10:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And it's a live event. You're going to do 12 spread album month by month. So it looks pretty interesting. You can go on the website and take a look at the pictures. So they've got all the months lined out, all the things that you're going to make. The nice thing about it is everything is pre-cut, so you don't have to do the cutting. You can just put it together during the retreat. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I haven't scrapbooked in many years, but I used to scrapbook a lot. And I'm like, looks interesting, right? So there's that. Okay. All right. Okay, hi Renee. Okay, you guys, sailboats. So originally I was thinking sailboats for Father's Day, which they all could be, and maybe we'll change up some of the sentiments tonight as we get going. But I ended up not making most of them Father's Day cards, but you could, right? So anyway, here's the cards we're going to make tonight. We've got this nice, we're going to do a little watercoloring with this one. This is one I don't usually do, where I put strips of paper together, but we're going to do that and then emboss it. And we have this kind of nautical themed. These are colors that I just associate with nautical themes. So we're going to do this card. I think these fonts are really great. We're going to do this one right here, which I thought was pretty. We're using that paper again that we used before, which is the Thoughtful Journey. Super handy, right, to have that already ready for you. And then we're going to do this fun little gift bag with the cute little gift bags that they still have. We'll have some cute little anchor candies in there, some mints. So I thought that would be fun too. Okay. what did I want to say about this? Let me start with Father's Day, okay? So I feel like we don't have a whole lot of Father's Day things that we can look at. There's He's the Greatest, right? And these have all the different grandpa, father, dad, brother, uncle, all those things, which is great. I feel like when you use this, you might want to pair it up with She's the Greatest, right? Because you can do You're the Best or Happy Day. So a couple of these that I put together, which I haven't used yet. Hi, Jolene. Is just Happy Father's Day. So I used 2 from here and Father's from right here. And then You're the Best Dad. Again, You're the Best from here and Dad from here. So that's one option if you're making Father's Day cards, right? You could make a Father's Day card for your grandpa, your uncle, you know, whoever, your son, right? So that's fun. The other place that there's Father's Day stamps, and let me see if I can find something to put behind this. I don't know if that helps at all. It doesn't because I have it upside down. But this one says Happy Father's Day right here. You know what's going to help me? Hold on. Let me look. This is from a kit. Actually, it was this was from the Paper Pumpkin. No, hold on. Mountain Majesty's Paper Pumpkin. This was the May one. So let me just pull this out real quick. I haven't really gotten into this, but I did pull out the stamp set. And usually in here, they have something for the stamp. Hold on. Already making a mess. Let me just open this real up. Anyway, these would make great Father's Day cards in themselves. When I didn't have cards made last night, I actually thought about, do we just want to do some kits? Because the kits they're making are super awesome. So let me just pull out this Mountain Majesties and see if it shows the stamp set in a better light. Nice envelopes. Sometimes they have a black and white background for the stamp set. I don't see one in here. But anyway, you can see how awesome this is. Kind of a masculine card kit to make some really nice things. If you don't subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you didn't get the Paper Pumpkin, but you'd like it, I have an extra one. Somehow I managed to, I'm getting 2 Paper Pumpkins every month now. Don't ask me how that happened because I don't know, and I keep forgetting to call them. I think it had to do when they changed it to being on the site. Okay, so again, that wasn't helpful, sorry. But there is Best Dad Ever, You're the Greatest, Happy Father's Day. Can you kind of see those stamps? So those are nice stamps to always have for Father's Day, right? What does this one say? You mean the world to me. This one says, to a wonderful man. So just really great, right? I need to put this set together. So I just wanted to show you a couple of options in case you were going to do some Father's Day cards with this. The other thing, and I'm looking to see if I have it handy, is if you get one of these ephemera packs, the greetings for all, I know in here there is a Happy Father's Day, right? So you could use that as well. Okay. Tonight we are going to use the Sunrise Sailing set, right? This is beautiful. I do love sailboats, even though I've had some traumatic sailboat experiences. I still love sailboats. And so it comes with the stamp set. It comes with the die set. And then it comes with the hybrid embossing folder. So we have this beautiful embossing folder. And also one of the dies, the sailboat die, fits into it nicely. So you can cut and emboss at the same time. So it just it doesn't really snap, but it just fits in perfectly on this side. So when you put your paper in, you can close it up and you will cut and emboss at the same time. Pretty handy, right? So we're going to use these things tonight. Let me put these close by because we'll refer back to them. Also for the first card, which is going to be this one. This is the first one that we're going to do tonight. We are going to just take the stylish shapes and do our sentiment out of that. Okay? So let's get our pieces out. All right. So we're going to watercolor first thing. I've got all these pieces. We're going to start with our piece of watercolor paper, right? So I just got that. And then we'll do the other pieces later. I want to get going on this first because we need it to dry, right? So let me get out a piece of scrap to put underneath it. Okay. All right, brush. Now, did you guys notice they discontinued the water painters this time? So yeah, no water painters, but if you have them, use them. If not, this is kind of like a flat brush. Any flat brush, paintbrush you have will work to do your watercoloring, okay? I'm actually gonna bring in a little bit of water. You don't need it if you have the water painters, but sometimes it helps speed things along just a little bit. Okay, the way I like to watercolor, I'm gonna start with fresh freesia, is to put it on a block. I don't like to get my things, my inside of my stamp things messy. So I prefer to stamp on a block, okay? So I'm just gonna pick up some fresh freesia, and that's what I'm gonna use. Now I found, you know, the fresh freesia, I'm just getting this wet. And I'm just gonna get my paper a little bit wet before we start. The fresh freesia is not dark, so then I added a little bit of Highland Heather, so we might have to go back and do that. Now, we don't have to go all the way down the page, and we're keeping this simple, right? We just want to keep it super simple. I'm just going across, adding color. That's it. Nothing else, nothing special. See how light that is? So I don't know if we're going to be happy with that. We'll see. If not, we'll add something a little darker. I thought, you know, the petunia pop's pretty dark. So I want to add some of that, but then I thought, is it too dark? I'm not really sure. So I think I'm pretty good with this purple. Maybe just a little bit more. Let me dry this, pick up a little bit more ink. Okay, now I want to get into my next color. All right, so I'm going to use the same block. I'm going to go Melon Mambo next. And I like this combination where you kind of go from purple to pink to orange for, I don't know, is this a sunrise or a sunset? Not sure. This one's kind of dark, so I want to make sure I water it down pretty well. All right, see how dark that is? And we're just going to water this, kind of flow it into our purple. I think we got enough color right there. We just need to thin it out a little bit. It's fine if it's streaky like that. I think that just kind of adds to the sky scene, right? If you have a little bit of streakiness there. So that's okay, but I'm going to add just a little bit more color to kind of wash it in. Okay, good. Let's do our next color, which is going to be Peach Pie. Okay, make sure this is still kind of wet here. Still kind of pink. Okay. I like Peach Pie. It's not too dark of an orange. Okay. So let's just add our last layer in. And it'll get like a little more dark orange as we blend it into our, what did I say that was? I forgot. Melon Mambo. You know what? Sometimes I keep calling my Melon Mambo Mango Melody. Isn't that crazy? Okay, now what do you guys think? Is our purple dark enough, or should we add just, I'm going to add just a little bit, not to be picky, but I just want maybe just a tad more purple at the top. So let me just get a baby wipe out so I can clean my block. And we'll add a little bit of Highland Heather. I mean, I don't want to take too long doing this, right? The idea is quick and easy. So let me just, again, this is kind of dark too, so I want to be careful. Just add maybe a little bit at the top. The thing with the Highland Heather, it's not like a very bright color. So, you know, I'm kind of on the fence on the Highland Heather, I'll be honest. All right, let me just blend that in. All right, we're going to call that done, right? So there we kind of have our colors, which I think look kind of pretty. I'd like to see a little bit more orange here, but, you know, again, we don't want to get crazy. So let's get it out of the way. I'm going to kind of lay it flat so I can start to dry, and then we'll move on to the next things that we're going to work on. Okay, so let's get a sailboat going. Let me get this cleaned off. All right, make sure my hands are clean. Ooh, Lisa, I'm just seeing your comment. You're talking about rope burn from somebody's hand. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. Wow. I will say the positive experience about sailing and stuff, boy, you learn everything, right? You learn the terminology, you learn your role, what you're supposed to do. And it's nothing like being on the water, right? I love being on the water. Okay, let's talk about our other pieces now. So our card base we're going to have is going to be our peach pie, right? 8.5, 5.5 scored at 4 1/4, 5 1/4 by 4 on the inside of this. Not getting too fancy on the inside. We're just going to put a sentiment and a strip that we're going to cut off, okay? All right, so we'll keep that aside. We'll put this, we're not ready for that yet. This is going to be for our stamping, just another 1/4 sheet of white cardstock. I have a 5 1/4 by 4 kind of to frame it out in basic black. All right, so that's going to be our first layer over here. Now, I have a piece of this. And you guys, I don't have measurements yet because I didn't do the sheet, the project measurement sheet. These are my measurements, right? What a mess. Okay, so this piece of Coastal Cabana is 4 by 2. We're going to take this piece and we're going to run it through the embossing folder. But I just want to kind of get the water part. So I'm just going to run it through like this. And then I'm going to have that water texture on it. Okay. So this is what it's going to look like. All right. Now we've got a little bit of water that's going to go on the bottom of our card. All right. I also have this piece right here of, it's just a scrap of basic black. You're going to cut out some of those little birds, right? And let me show you the bird die. It's nice because they put it in one strip and it cuts 3 of the birds. All right, so run that through your machine and you'll have your birds die cut out, okay? So we've got that. Let me see if I can pull some birds out over here. Here's some random birds, okay, we've got those. Okay, let's stamp next and do our sailboat. How's this going? Good, it's getting there. All right, sailboat next. I don't have much room to work with, do I? Let me see if I can move this just a little more. I don't know if that's helpful or not. I feel like I'm getting more glare now. Okay, here's the sailboat stamp. I'm going to use the black that's in the white. Remember, the white comes blank. You add Memento ink to it, make your own black stamp pad. So I'm just going to ink this up. And we're going to have our sailboat. Okay, beautiful sailboat. Now, I like to paper piece. So I have a piece of this designer series paper, and this is called Country Woods Designer Series paper. And I just took a little bit of that wood look, and I'm going to stamp on that just the hull of the boat. Okay, so let me just ink that up and stamp it right there. Easy breezy. You can see I have the hull. We're going to cut that out. Fussy cut it. Okay. All right. So the other thing I did with this, so let's do that part first so you can see how you do it. Get rid of the black for now. And you can cut anywhere on the black line. You want to cut on the line and don't leave a cloud around it, because we have a black line on this part already, so the black lines are going to blend in. All right, so we're just going to cut this hole out, and it kind of goes up. Well, this top part looks like where the cabin would be. That might not be of wood, but we're going to just do the whole thing in wood. Okay, see how it's all cut out now? All right, let's glue that to our sailboat. I think my sentiment fell on the floor. All right, that'll fit on there nicely. And you can see up close how it just takes on the black outline, right? So now we have a wooden hull on our sailboat. The other thing I did was I took a little bit of Pool Party Light. I just took a Stampin' Blend, and I just kind of made like a little shadow outline on the sails, just to add a little something extra, just on both sails. So just outlining it this way. And the jib. See, like I'm throwing out all my sailboat terms here. Okay. So you can see how that just adds just a little subtle something to our sailboat, right? Okay, take the sailboat die and just use the die itself. We're not using the embossing folder for this. We're just plain out using the die. Run it through your die cutting machine just like this. All right, and then you're going to have your sailboat. Of course, I did this sailboat cutout. I guess I should have saved this for this one because this is the one that's cut out. So interesting, but I think this is probably already dry. Yep. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to fussy cut. Nothing wrong with fussy cutting, right? I mean, you can do that too. You don't have to use the die. You're leaving a cloud around the sailboat. So much for trying to be organized and get it done ahead of time, right? That's okay. And I'm just going to go inside the sails. School is almost out. There's only one more week of school, which, you know, I don't have any kids in school right now. My daughter teaches, and she's about to stop teaching and be a stay-at-home mom for a while in Chicago. But anyway, yeah, my favorite part is no more traffic, especially since we live right down the street from a high school. So I feel like the traffic's already been light this week. I don't know why. I know they finished construction on one of our roads, so maybe since there's another road open now, it's lightened up the traffic on the others. But I get super excited when school's out and I don't have to battle the traffic anymore. Okay, there's our cute little sailboat, all set and ready to go. Okay, well, that gave some extra time for our paper to dry, so we can see if that's dried enough to use it. In the meantime, I'm trying to retrieve my sentiment. Let's stamp on that. Okay, I'm just, sorry, wow. I was just reading the, hold on, hold please. I was reading the comments, and every once in a while when I do that, I swipe, don't ask me why, and then I lose my whole page. Okay. All right, so on this one on the inside, so the outside we did Happy Retirement. On the inside, You Deserve the Best. So let's find all those and stamp them on. I feel like this Happy Retirement barely fits. So I didn't want to do too big of a sentiment underneath the sailboat because I didn't want it to take up all the water. And then we'll do You Deserve the Best right here. then what we're going to do is cut down our watercolor sheet. All right. Okay, so let me get my trimmer out. And we'll see what measurements we need to have here. And actually, it feels just a tiny bit damp. It's definitely not wet anymore. So we want this to be, I think we want this to be 5 1/4 by 4 actually, which means that this black piece is just a little bit wider. So it's 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Okay. So we're going to have thin borders around it. So we want this to be 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to see, do I like where the 4 sits like this? I think this is going to be covered up, so I'm not worried about that little blotch there. So, all right, let's go here, 4, and then 5 1/4. Now, looking ahead, I'm going to glue this on because I want to make sure that I have enough of the water showing. So I want to get some of this beautiful orange in. So I'm going to put this down right here. Okay. All right. Let me trim this up so it's even. And okay. Let's cut off the bottom here. I'm going to cut just a little bit to make it nice and even on the bottom, okay? That did not go through all the way. Let's try it again. Okay, now I want it to be 5 1/4. So we're going to lose some of that purple unless we want to lose a little bit more of the water. Oh, you know what I did, you guys? I can't put this on yet. Oh, hold on. It's good for measuring, but I have to send this through the embossing folder. So please hold again while I take this off. It's coming off a little rough because I used real glue instead of seal. Seal would have been super easy to take off. So it's a little rough, but it's not going to matter. We'll be able to fix it, even if it rips the paper a little bit. It's not a problem. Okay. All right. Back to the measurements. 5 1/4. I want to keep just a little more purple, so I'm going to go down just a tad more, and then I'll cut off at the bottom once we finish, okay? All right, so that's our finished piece. Not much purple up there, but that's okay. All right, now, we're going to put this through the embossing folder, and it's going to go, I want this to be on this side here, okay? So I'm going to put it right about here. I want the clouds to be in there. And are we happy with the placement? I feel like I need to go up a little because the sailboat, I'm going to go up all the way. The sailboat has to be in the water, okay? So I think that's pretty good. All right, let's send that through the embossing machine. Can it fit? If it can't fit, I'll just do it on the floor. Just running it through, super easy. All right. Okay, let me take that off. Now I've glued this now onto my embossing folder. So very important that you don't do that stuff ahead of time. I should have just lined it up and called it a day. Okay, so far it looks like a mess, but trust me, it's gonna be okay. And I didn't want it, now it's debossed instead of embossed, but that's still okay. I think it still looks pretty. Maybe we should just start over, right? Because, yeah. Doing everything wrong tonight. Who knew steps were so, so, so important, right? Okay, here we go. Our boat will be in the water. Let me just double trim up again, and I think we're in good shape now. We can save anything, right? All right, we've got this piece we're gonna keep for the inside of the card. Okay, there we go. Let's put our sailboat on. We're gonna put the sailboat on with some dimensionals. All right, and you can see that's a little bit off because I embossed it the wrong way, but that's what we're doing. So what we want to do, and let me show you for next time, the part that has the Stampin' Up emblem, you put the colored part facing like this, okay? Because this part that's indented is gonna be the part that's raised on your card, all right? So don't mess it up like I did. All right. And I questioned that when I was doing it. I'm like, All right. There's our boat on the water like that, right? Let's take our sentiment and pop that up as well. And then we're going to do the layers. Thanks. I appreciate your comments. I will say it was fun creating with this set. Things never turn out the way you think they're going to turn out, you know. You kind of go with something and you just keep going, and then that's how it is. All right, let's make sure this is lined up before we cut anything else. This is, remember we were going to take off another little bit at the bottom because we wanted the purple to show. So let me just even that out now that it's all together. 5 1/4. Did that come off? No, it did not. I feel like I've had trouble with this blade. I know it sounds crazy, but this blade right now isn't cutting all the way through, and I've never had that happen before. And I wonder if there's something wrong with the blade, because it's not like I've changed the pressure I put on or anything. Has anybody else had that happen? It's a pretty new blade that I put on, and it doesn't seem to be cutting all the way through, which is weird. Okay, do we like this? Is it gonna work? I think it looks pretty good. We've got a nice border. Everything looks pretty straight. I feel like this is just a little funky right here. Let's do one last trim. If we're gonna be super picky. Sometimes when you emboss, I think it kind of stretches the paper out a little bit. So. If you get any fuzzies, you can just use a little buffer to buff it out. I do that a lot. If something's not cutting right, I just use one of these and get the fuzzies off. Okay. All right, where is my seal? Ta-da! A little bit more this way. Okay. Uh-oh, I think I just threw a bird on the floor. I'll never find it. Good thing I cut extras. All right. There we go. You can do the inside any way that you want. You can add a little bit here. You could add a little bit on both sides. You could add across the bottom, and I think that's what I'm going to do, is just add across the bottom. This is about 1 inch, and I'm just going to do a little rainbow across the bottom here since we have this extra piece. Okay. Okay. There we go. Let's add a couple of the birds. Now, I was going to do like a Happy Father's Day down here, but as you can see, it took up a lot more room and I didn't feel like it would exactly fit. I could have done it kind of like this, or what I could have done was just taken these words and just done them that way, like Happy Father's Day this way, and put it across the bottom. All right, so some of these birds are already embossed, or in our case debossed, so I'm going to just go right over where those birds are. And then we'll put one on the other side. Come on. And we'll put one right here. Okay. Phew, finally, card number 1, all finished. That took a minute, huh? It wouldn't have if I would have done it right in the first place. Anyway, I think this is a pretty card. I love the colors. I hope you guys like the card too. Okay, next, let's have some more adventure with glue. I'm going to start by taking my silicone mat to protect things, because I know things are going to get messy. All right, for the next one, what are we adding? We're going back to these dies that are Spotlight on Nature to cut out some of the circles. We're going to use this embossing folder right here. I like this plaid embossing folder. And then we're going to use this right here. Here's our pieces for this card. Okay, so we're going to start with just 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white cardstock. All right. So we're going to do kind of our background first. What we want to do is just do some strips. So if you get the kit, you're going to be getting these pieces right here. These are 8.5 by 2, and you're going to cut them into 1/2 inch strips. Okay. So once you do that, you get a bunch of strips that kind of look like this, and we're just going to glue them on. Okay. So let's start gluing. I don't usually do cards like this where I do, you know, I don't usually do gluing of strips and stuff like that. I'm going to start with my Night of Navy and put it corner to corner this way. Okay. And this is where things get a little messy, but I'm only putting glue on this strip right here that's going to kind of go over, right? So actually I didn't do too bad. I didn't have too much glue. All right, next I'm going to do red. Now I'm going to start just lining them up next to each other, and I'm just going to start putting the glue on the actual paper so I don't get it all over the place. And just go right next to each other. This is Daffodil Delight, so that was real red. This is Daffodil Delight. I'll try and conserve some of the paper because we might want to use it for something else. And then we're just going to keep repeating until we fill our whole page. I could have added a white stripe in too. That might have made it a little less intense with the color, but I did not. Yellow again. Let's take some of this yellow from here. And then we're going to have a tiny corner of blue. Okay, let's go back the other way now. Hopefully these will dry pretty quickly. And we've got yellow next. And so if you have 4 of each color strip, you're in pretty good shape. Now, obviously I'm using too much. I've got a lot of extra strips here that we're going to cut off, but then you can use those little pieces later. Almost there. Take some from up here. Where else have we got extra? From there. And I think we might end up with another little corner. Nope, I think we're ending like right on the corner. Okay, there we go. You can see how we've done that, right? Now we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna trim it. So you can either trim it on your trimmer or use a pair of scissors just to go right along the edge. Let's try scissors. As long as we stay on the edge, we're good. Sometimes those little corners fall off, so I got to see if our corners made it through when we flip it over. Okay, there it is. There it is, okay? That's our background. Okay, put some of this stuff away, get it out of the way. Put it in the garbage. Okay, let me get a baby wipe just to make sure there's no extra glue on here so it messes anything else up. Okay, next, so we have these pretty colors, but to me it still looked a little bit of plain. And then I was thinking, gosh, what should I have done with this? Should I have done some stamping or embossing on these strips before I put them on? And then I thought, let's just emboss the whole thing. So I kind of looked through and decided which folder I wanted to use, and I landed on this one right here. So if you get the kit this week and you want to do it exactly, you're going to need this embossing folder, because I'm not going to cut and set up your strips like this. You'll have to do your own strips, so you'll need your own embossing folder since we do it afterwards, right? So I'm trying to line it up on the black line. Or use any embossing folder that you would like. I'm sure there's lots of different ones that would work fine. Okay, let me run it through the machine. I'm not going to bring it up this time. You know how to run it through, right? So let me just. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. Can you see the embossing in that now? I think it added just a little something else, right? So we've got that ready to go. All right, good luck when I get up not tripping over everything that I've now thrown on the floor. Okay, this time starting with thick basic white, 8.5 by 5.5, square to 4 1/4. That's going to be our card base. This is going to go right on the front, and we're just going to put it on with seal. All right, so we can put that down. The other thing is I don't usually use like primary colors and stuff. That's kind of not my thing, but I do like it. I do like it. All right, there's our card base. All right, so we've got some other pieces. We have got our 2 circles that we cut out of the, what's the name of that one again? Wait, don't tell me. Spotlight on Nature Dies. All right, so let me finish getting all these little pieces out of here with my take your pick. So while I'm doing that, you guys, if you want the kit for this card set this week, just spend $45 or more in my Stampin' Up store. Name me as your demonstrator for the order, and I will send you the kit for free to make all 4 of these projects. If you don't want to place an order, you can still purchase them for $22. A lot of people do that too, that option. So that's available. And then I'll send you everything you need. These, like all the other shapes, these will be die cut for you. You just need the bundle and that extra embossing folder if you choose to use it for this, okay? All right, let's put this down. I might send this one to my dad for Father's Day. Just change up the sentiment. Okay, so this is going to kind of be our background. Let's pop this up. And then we're going to do stamp another sailboat. So this will go right here on our card. All right. We have another piece of 5 1/4 by 4. This time I'm going to stamp a Night of Navy. So let me get the sailboat again. And yes, I'm being naughty and not cleaning my stamp first. Night of Navy, Memento, pretty close, right? Not going to freak out about it. Okay. I'm going to take Real Red, and there's a stamp to fill in the hull, which is this one right here. So I'm going to do that in red. You can see what that looks like. Let's see how good my aim is. I feel like I've struggled with this one. It's a little hard for me to see, especially when I'm not right over it, but it's also designed not to be perfect. You can see how it has some little white spots. It's kind of designed not to be perfect either, okay? So that's good. Now I'm going to take Daffodil Delight, and we're going to decorate the sails. And we have this stamp for that. All right, and this is going to go right like this. So let's get it inked up. And we're going to add some little stripes to our sails. Do you guys remember the Hobie cats, the Hobie catamarans that always had, they were striped, right? Striped sails. Okay, there we go. Now we've completely stamped our sailboat. Take your die cut, same sailboat die cut, and then go ahead and die cut it out. All right, so we have this piece right here. All right, we also want to stamp Congratulations. So I just have this 1/2 inch strip, and it's about, I don't know, maybe 3 1/2 or so. And we'll do Congratulations in Night of Navy. Again, sentiment of your choice, whatever you want to do. I'm just cutting this straight, so I'm just going to trim it up a little bit. We're going to use some dimensionals and put it on. It's not really too straight. Okay. So I'm just going to take some seal to put this on here. God, I'm losing hair. What's going on? And we'll put the sailboat right about here. So it's just kind of touching the bottom. I kind of didn't want the holes to show underneath the boat. All right, so there's our sailboat. Let's pop up Congratulations. So as far as the email, I'm going to try, it takes me about an hour to do the project measurement sheet. I've loaded the pictures, but I still have to load all the measurements. So that takes a little bit longer. So I'm gonna try and get that done tonight. So what I'm saying is I don't know if the email is gonna go out tomorrow like they normally do first thing in the morning, or if it's gonna go out the next day. We'll see how much I can get done tonight. On the inside, you're destined for great things. I just added just a little bit of a red stripe on the bottom with the leftovers. Now, in your card kit, I actually used the smaller piece to stamp the sailboat on and use the 5 1/4 by 4 just to add an extra layer on the inside here. I should have another one here handy. I always keep those handy. So let's do our stamping on that. And that's you're destined for great things. This would be a good graduation card, right? I love how crisp the Stampin' Up stamps are. The words just come out so crisp and beautiful. Stampin' Up really makes nice quality products. I'm just going to take a little bit of the strip here and put it on with some seal. You could add all 3 colors if you want. We got plenty of leftover strips. But we've kind of just got a red, white, and blue here now, right? So. And then for this one, for embellishments, I got some glue on here. For embellishments, I thought birds again, but this time we're going to use the birds and the bees one, that gold one. So this one is called Adhesive Back Dragonflies and Birds. They're not actually bees. The dragonflies are really nice. Those are fun. We're going to use one of each of the birds and just have those flying near our sailboat. Just like that. All right. That is it. Card number 2. Fun, right? Something a little bit different. Okay. Let's move on to card number 3. This one, I liked this paper. You know, we've used this paper so many times now. And it's Thoughtful Journey. The piece that we're going to use for this card is kind of this background piece right here. All right. Here's the other piece so you can see which piece of paper it is. Also lovely, right? I feel like every paper in this pack is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so what I did was I just took, again, those same dies, but the big one. Let me show you. It's this big one right here, the outside one. And I just took it and just found a place that I wanted, right? And I wanted some of this, what looked to be like a water line. So I just die cut it like right like that, okay? And then I cut a strip over here too for the inside of the card. Now, if you get the kit, I'm going to die cut this for you because you don't need to have these dies to make the cards in the kit, right? So I'll die cut this for you and it'll come already die cut. Now, did I do that in advance this time? No, I did not. So I'm going to have to, oh, I did. Huh, I did, thank goodness. I did one thing right tonight. Look at that. Okay. Let me put this away before it gets lost. Okay, so we've got our little ships on this one. All of our pieces, starting with Knight of Navy with our card base, 8 1/2, 5 1/2, square to 4, 4 1/4. It's going to open this way for this one. Okay, this is the inside, and like I said, I cut a little bit of a strip. I'm probably going to put it this way for the inside of our card because so you kind of have the water in the sky above it. So let me do that. You could do it the other way. Doesn't matter. I think in the card that I've already made, I did it the other way. It's no matter. We'll do this one this way. Okay. We're going to stamp on that, so I won't put it inside the card yet. All right. So our next layer is going to be Fresh Freesia. And let me look at the measurements for this. Well, I've got it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5, of course, because that's how long the card is, by 2.5. And then I've taken it and run it through this embossing folder, which is the corrugated. Kind of makes it look like corrugated cardboard, right? So we have this texture on this. So this is just going to go on the front of the card right like this. And we're just going to start layering up background pieces. Adding a little extra seal because I want to make sure it sticks with all that texture. Okay, let's see if anything's hanging over. And we'll just trim it up. Things are not always exact. Okay. All right. Here's that piece that I showed you how we cut it out. On the card I made, I just did it flat. I think I want to pop it up a little bit more. So I'm probably going to pop that up. In the meantime, let's cut out some sailboats. All right. So I'm giving you a scrap of white and a scrap of Night of Navy in your kit. You're going to take the dies, and these are the smaller dies now, and cut those out. So we have this one right here. It's almost like, it's got one sail, but it's almost like the mast and the hull. And then, so you're going to cut out these, right? So those are the two bases of the sailboat. And then you have two dies that are just the sails, okay? So take those, cut them out through your die cutting machine. And let me get the pieces out here. Okay, so we've got the little sail and the big sail and the little bottom part of the boat and the big bottom part of the boat. Okay, so we've got those pieces ready to go. Now I'm going to stamp ahoy on this little piece right here. And this little piece has a weird measurement. It's a little bit bigger than a half. So let me take a look and see what I wrote down for that measurement. In my scribble, 5/8 by 2 inches. This one is 5/8 by 2 inches. Okay, so let's go ahead and stamp that. Ahoy, here we go. Night of Navy. This would be another great one if you wanted to use the Father's Day stamp, right? Just get a different piece of white, cut out a different label. And you could do Happy Father's Day because it's a nice little background for that. All right, what did we stamp on the inside while I have this out? Best wishes. All right, hold on. I'm looking for my best wishes. Uh-oh, don't see it. Here it is. It's longer than I expected. I have to remember my card's going to go this way. All right. All right, so let's put that on the inside. Just like that. Let's glue our sailboats and then we're going to add them to this piece right here. Okay. So I'm going to add glue just to this blue sail part right here. And then add the sail. Bring it up so you can see a little bit closer. So this sail gets hooked to that sail. I want to make sure it's low enough so you can still see that little dot at the top of the mast, right? Okay, let me see. That looks pretty good. You can see how it is on the other side. Okay, so that's one. Let's do the other one. Same thing, covering up that one. Leaving the dot at the top. Make sure that's pretty straight. Okay, that looks good. Now we have our two cute little sailboats. Now with this one, I took some balmy blue and I did the same thing with the sails. This is light balmy blue. And I'm just going to make a line on the sails again, just to add a little something. And I'm kind of keeping it kind of thin. I like a nice white sail. Okay, there's one. You can see how that kind of adds a little something to it, right? All right, same thing for this little bitty sailboat. I wanted to do one of these like embossed in white, so keep the card mostly white, not with the little sailboats, with the big one, and do like a coastal cabana or one of those type colors with it, but I didn't get around to doing that yet. Okay, so I'm just going to take these and just glue these right on. Taking a risk by using glue. Kind of not my thing. All right, and I think this one can go right here. I'll put the other one just a little bit lower. Right about here. Okay, now we've got our little boat scene. Let's try popping this up this time. I think I might like it popped up a little bit better. I'm gonna do it kind of right in the center, all right? Just like that. That looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay, ahoy, I'm just gonna cut on a little bit of an angle with my scissors. And we will we'll pop this up as well right here. Okay, so there's our card. Let's add some embellishments. And for this one, I went back to use these shiny little element. I'm kind of in love with these, to be honest. I know we're using them for the celebratory sips, but I thought they'd be perfect on this card too, because you can see how it kind of picks up the purples and the pinks in it, right? So these are the iridescent faceted gems. And we'll just take a couple of these and put them on. If I can get it picked up. And a little one. And then I just took one more small one and just kind of put it over here. Okay, card number 3. Lisa, that's a good idea. Precision glue press gun. I have actually seen that. I should try that. I think you're right. I think you're right. All right, thank you so much. All right, there we go, card number 3. Okay, now we're just gonna make this cute little gift bag. I found these mints. I thought they were very cute, these little nautical mints to go inside of it. And these bags, they come the large and the small. So, I mean, super easy, right? We don't have to think about anything at all. We can just decorate a quick, easy gift bag and give gifts. If you get the card kit this week, I will throw some of these mints into your kit, so you have some of them, okay? Because you got to have the mints, and they're not chocolate, so I can send them through the mail. Okay, so start with the little gift bag. All right, and you'll get this. I'll send this to you too. All right, and here it is. Here's our pieces for this. Not too many pieces for this one. We're just doing a quick little scene. So let me take a look at the measurements so I can tell you. On this one. All right, 3 1/8 by that one's not right. Hold on. I know it's more than, it's not the same on both sides. I want to say it's 3 1/8 by 3 1/4. But let's measure, shall we? All right, this is the 3 1/8 side, and this is 3 1/2. Okay, 3 1/2 by 3 1/8. I gotta fix that before I, hold on, looking for my pencil, before I type it up tonight. 3 1/2, Night of Navy. Okay, so we're just gonna build our scene here, and then we'll put it on here last on the gift bag. Okay, so for our background, I use the Stylish Shapes dies to cut the largest square out of Balmy Blue. So we've got Balmy Blue that's going to go in here that we're going to build on. I've got, these are for die cutting, okay? So you have these 3 pieces. We're going to do, take the 2 clouds. You're going to cut out 2 clouds out of your white. You're going to cut another small sail out of the white. You're going to cut the mast, kind of the background base of the boat out of navy. And then you're going to take this, what kind of looks to be like a water die, and cut it out of this piece of Azure Afternoon. Okay, just cut it off right close to the bottom. All right, and now we have just a cute little wave. All right, so that's, we're going to build that on here. So we have our pieces for this. Now, I didn't like the clouds just super plain like that, so I'm going to take the Balmy Blue, and I'm going to take my sponge dauber, which seems to have momentarily disappeared. Hold on, I had it a minute ago, but things have been kind of falling all over. I don't see it, so let me get out a different one. Let me see if I can see it on the floor. Nope. Here it is. Okay. Gosh. So I'm going to take that and just get some Balmy Blue ink on it and just go around the edges of the clouds. Kelly, you have the glue press gun too? Interesting. I got to try it. What kind of, does it fit the regular glue that we have here at Stampin' Up, or is it a special glue that fits in it? I don't know that. I've seen a picture of it before, but I don't really know the details of it. So I'm just going around the edges with my dauber and my Balmy Blue ink, just to add a little fun to the edges of the clouds. I'll have to look it up and see what it's all about. Okay, second cloud all set. We're going to next glue our sailboat together. That is crazy crooked. Get this close to the top. See how I'm doing on the back. Okay, that kind of works. Make sure none of the blue is showing through. Okay, there's our little sailboat. I didn't outline it this time. I just left the sails blank white because they're kind of against that blue background. I just left it this time. Okay, so let's start building our scene. We're just going to add a little bit of glue and add the wave to the bottom. Now, up to you if you want to leave the little dots on the bottom. Maybe we will this time. So we still have our dots showing. That looks kind of cute. And trim it off. Now, before we get too far, let me kind of lay it out because I want to stamp Dad on there. So my clouds are going to go about like this. And I'm going to have just enough room for Dad and Night of Navy right over here. Okay. Quick and easy seal. Pretty close to the top. We'll do other one cloud. What do you say? Let's pop this one up. I didn't do that with the last one, but why not? Now I kept this one pretty simple. You could dress it up a little bit by adding some bling to it. I'm going to pop up the sailboat too. You could add some more, excuse me, birds in the background. Some little embellishments. I'm going to just cut a little strip off the edge of my dimensionals for the bottom of the boat. All right, I'm super inky. I got inky before I even came on tonight because I was cleaning my stamps off and getting ink everywhere. So we'll just have this kind of sitting on our little sea scene. Ugh, hold on. I took it off that, but not these. All right. I'm going to cut off this side. And then we'll just add some seal. And how quick and easy was this one, right? You can make a whole bunch of these cute little gifts. They could say anything you want. It'd be fun if you were at a family get-together. Like, let's say for Father's Day, you could do one for Dad, one for brother, one for uncle, and just everybody would get their own. Okay, there it is. You can open it up and put your candy inside. All right, that's it. We made it through. We did all our projects. Excuse me. I have a frog in my throat all of a sudden. Okay, so just to bring back, what we started with was kind of our sunrise or sunset. I'm going to say sunrise since that's the name of the set. Our sunrise retirement sailboat. We did our nautical colored sailboat card. Then we did kind of this little scene with the littler sailboats. And then we went ahead and did our little gift bag. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you liked the cards tonight. I think they were kind of fun. I don't really have anything to tell you extra except that I'm going to work on this. I got the pictures in so far, but these measurements are from the last class, so I need to redo all the measurements. But if you would like the project sheet, it will be going out in the mail either tomorrow or the next day this time. Or if you're not on my email list, email me and I'll be happy to send you the measurements for these projects. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. I hope everybody's safe and enjoys and has good weather and all the good things. And next week, the day after Memorial Day, we're going to go ahead with, if you got the kit ahead, for the celebratory sips. And those are in the mail, so they are on their way to you. I'm hoping everybody's going to have them before next Tuesday so they can craft along. I sold a lot of them, and thank you guys, everybody who ordered. I think it's going to be a super fun class. I won't mess anything up like tonight, okay? And you guys have a great holiday. I'll talk to you later. Bye.